A picture began to emerge on Tuesday of the 21-year-old charged with 10 counts of murder in connection with Monday's mass shooting at a Colorado grocery store, but his motive remained unclear.
Why did this happen? We don't have the answer to that yet.
Boulder County District Attorney Michael Daugherty said at a news conference that the suspect, identified by police as Ahmad Al-Aliwi Alisa of Arvada, Colorado, was expected to be released from the hospital later on Tuesday and transported to jail after suffering a leg wound in exchange with gunfire with responding police officers at the King Soopers outlet in Boulder.
Less than a week after the horrific murders of 8 people and the assault on the AAPI community in Georgia, while the flag was still flying half-staff for the tragedy, another American city has been scarred by gun violence and the resulting trauma. I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps that will save the lives in the future and to urge my colleagues in the House and Senate to act. We can ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country once again. I got that done when I was a senator. It passed. It was law for the longest time. And it brought down these mass killings. We should do it again.
North Korea fired off 2 short-range missiles over the weekend, U.S. officials said on Tuesday, marking the first such test since the start of the Biden administration. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff confirmed on Wednesday they had detected the tests and monitored them in real time, though they did not acknowledge them until days later. Washington has played down the tests and insisted it will remain open to dialogue with Pyongyang. The tests come after North Korea refused repeated U.S. attempts at contact since mid-February. U.S. President Joe Biden was asked about the tests by reporters in Ohio on Tuesday.
We have learned that there's nothing much has changed.
They've slept like this on the floor of Charles de Gaulle Terminal 2 for almost a month now. 25 Algerians arrived from England at the end of February, expecting to board a connection flight to their home country, but Algerian authorities refused to let them board. Among them are 2 children aged 3 and 6, and the entire group has tested negative for the coronavirus. But the Algerian authorities remain steadfast. With Algeria strictly forbidding entry to anyone coming from the UK, these people are now stuck.
Now, according to state television, the Republic of Congo President Denis Sassou Nguesso has been re-elected, extending his 36 years in power. This vote marred by concerns over transparency, with some candidates boycotting the polls or being jailed.
Well, according to the Electoral Commission, it's a sweeping victory for Denis Sassou Nguesso with more than 88% of the vote. I've just spoken to officials from the leading opposition party, who've already said that this result is incorrect. Their candidate, Brice Parfait Colelas, died on late Sunday or early Monday, reportedly from COVID. So one of the things they're saying that should have been invoked as a constitutional requirement if a candidate dies, to cancel the election and have a rerun.
The former National Intelligence Director is revealing a new government report on UFOs will be full of never-before-seen or heard intel.
Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. We're talking about objects that, frankly, engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for.
Breaking the sound barrier without a sonic boom. How is that possible?
Well, I think that's probably the crux of the problem, that we are seeing these, let's call them vehicles, if you will, that are incurring into controlled U.S. airspace, that are displaying performance characteristics that are frankly well beyond anything that we can either replicate or in some cases really even understand.
The Suez Canal, one of the busiest shipping highways in the world, at least it usually is, except for now, with a massive container ship wedged in the narrow canal, blocking traffic in both directions. This is the Ever Given, one of a large flotilla of ships owned by Evergreen Marine. It's 400 metres long, 59 metres wide, and it was en route to the Netherlands when it ran aground a bit before 8 a.m. local time. Tugboats are trying to manoeuvre the ship and an excavator's trying to dig out the bow from its position firmly lodged in the bank. And while they work, a traffic jam is building.
Стой, 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 не дергайся, не дергайся. Опа. Чтобы руку ему подать, чтобы не упал. Ну вот и все. А вот сейчас ремня тебе дать бы.